What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I wanted to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY and the overall markets. I'm also going to talk about why tomorrow is going to be a very important day as we have the FOMC minutes, not to mention new news involving the markets. But I first want to mention that I'm not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Webull link. If you deposit any amount of money, you're guaranteed 12 free stocks. If you deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 in total. And deposit $25,000 or more, and you're guaranteed 75. The offer ends very soon, in just about 3 weeks from now. Anyways, now let's talk about the market. So, as far as Tesla goes, we're trying to base right here between this 238 and 240 area. And so far, we're doing a pretty good job. The question is, can Tesla form a double bottom and try to rebound? This will depend on some factors, not to mention the robotaxi event. But I first want to talk about the news and data before I break down more details about the charts. So, tomorrow is going to be Wednesday, October 9th, 2024. For tomorrow, we have a bunch of Fed speakers like Logan, Barkin, a couple of others who are going to continue to speak. And this is leading us up to the 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time event of the day, which is the FOMC Minutes Report. For those who don't know, FOMC Minutes is not necessarily an FOMC meeting. It is simply just a report that summarizes what happened. It'll give us more insights about what the Fed officials are thinking. And considering the fact that the majority of the Fed officials were a little bit more dovish in favoring the cuts that has come, not to mention more cuts than previously expected, that could be more bullish for the markets. So my view of the markets has shifted a bit. I still hold the same view in terms of the correction I see coming. I believe the market is going to see increased volatility and some downside as we get closer to November. However, for the time being, we are not ready to dip yet, and there are buyers defending the markets. And this could be another catalyst to help us push, especially because right before or right after FOMC minutes, the market's going to close. Then we have the next day we have CPI before the market opens, so that could be another bullish catalyst. So for now, the market's bullish. The market's going to try to rebound a bit, but here's the big but. We might start off on a lower end because of news involving Israel. We might start off with a little slowdown tomorrow morning, then a nice bounce to continue to push. And then even if we do push, even if the S&P 500 breaks all-time highs and Tesla tries to rebound, things could shift later on during the next month or so as we get closer to November because of the correction phase due to seasonality. So I want to make that very, very clear. I will kind of give you guys more visuals about this in just a couple of minutes. So what's my view of the markets? We don't really have much data coming up, but we do have the FOMC minutes, and that could affect how the market views interest rates. So right now, the market is basically thinking that there's an 86.7% chance we get a 50 basis point cut, at least in November, and about a 13.3% chance we get a 25 basis point cut. We'll see how things go from here, so be very, very patient, and that's going to be very, very key for the next developments. Now, on top of this, I want to mention that there's not really much news coming out so far for earnings, but we do have a lot coming out for Friday. Friday is going to be very important as we have the very important earnings reports, so be ready for that for JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, and BlackRock. On top of this, I just want to mention that as far as the future goes, we have the Nvda AI Summit coming out for Monday. That came out, and this is going to continue into today and tomorrow. So we have the conferences continuing for Nvidia today, and then tomorrow we have even more, and they're going to conclude the event with more interesting developments about their products. For tomorrow, we have the FOMC minutes, and then we have CPI for Thursday, not to mention Tesla's robotaxi event. That's going to be very, very big for us. Also, with what's going on right now, there's been a lot of talk about tensions between Israel and Iran. I just want to say that there's been a lot of tensions between them that have been going on for many years. And as of recent, with a lot of events that played out, Israel may end up launching strikes back at Iran. Now, we don't know if it's going to be at particular oil facilities or if it's going to be at a nuclear site. We don't know for sure. Waiting to see what they end up telling us. And this could lead to some uh, you know, shifts right here. That could lead to a little bit of fears that are developing. So that could cause the market to dip just a bit, but then we'll see what ends up developing as time goes on. On top of this, I want to mention that as far as the future goes, Tesla also has this robotaxi event appearing in just a couple of days. Whatever Tesla announces could cause a very, very big move. I believe that things are looking very promising for the events as we have the We Robot events taking place in the US in California. We have the potential developments for the Cybercab prototype. It's going to be very exciting, might cause interesting volatility. And then we're going to be looking to see what else they say about their other products. There could be a Tesla van that's announced. There's been a lot of talk about that. We'll see about that. There's a lot of hype about that. If they announce new products, such as the Model 2, the $25,000 EV, the Robotaxi, and then also with what's going on with this, that could be very important as well. So I can't wait to see what Tesla announces there. And then also, there could be other developments as well with all these shifts. So I can't wait to see what they end up announcing during this big event. So that's going to be the next big catalyst for Tesla. What's my prediction for tomorrow? I think tomorrow we might dip a little bit in the morning because of what's happening involving Israel and oil prices. So there might be a little dip, but once the FOMC minutes come out and as we get closer to CPI, the market could rebound and Tesla could make an attempt for 247. Look for a small dip and a rebound. I think that Tesla's trying to build some momentum here. It's trying to base around this 238 to 240 area. So look for a small dip and an attempt to bounce. As long as we don't lose support right over here around this 238 area, we should try to rebound. If we break 247, we will try to rebound as well. I think we dip tomorrow morning a little bit, and then we could be looking for a nice rebound for the 247 area. And then after the robotaxi event, depending on which way we go, if we are just hypothetically in the 250s, will we squeeze closer to 260 or will we dump all the way down to where this gap is? We'll have to wait and see which way Tesla goes. But the robotaxi event could be huge for them, especially as they make big announcements. So get ready for interesting volatility. For SPY, I want to mention that this is getting bought back up. It is possible that this could dip a little bit tomorrow morning because of the Israel news, back down to about 572. But even if it does dip a little bit, we could attempt to rebound and start pushing back up for higher levels, all the way up to 575. So if we hypothetically lose 572, we're looking for 570 as support and then 569. If that fails us, we're looking for 565. Lose 565, we turn more bearish. So far, we're getting bought back up. But my view of the market is the same. I think that even if we do dip a little bit tomorrow morning because of the whole news involving Israel, we could rebound after the FOMC minutes and CPI. This could pump us all the way up to about 575 towards all-time highs. So that's going to be very, very bullish. I think there's a good chance we try to push for 575, so SPY could attempt to rebound. However, even if we do break 575, I think that our target is going to be 578 to 580 if that breaks, by the way. Even if we do pump to new all-time highs, I am not joining the permeable crowd. I still hold the same view that there's going to be a corrective phase that's coming as we get closer to the November period. So could we pump? Yes, I think that the market could pump higher and try to approach all-time highs. We're not that far from them. We might dip in the morning because of the Israel news, closer to 572, if not lower. Then we should be looking for a rebound back up, once again closer to all-time highs. And if we break that, I think we could get even closer to about 570 to 580. So that's what my view is for the market. We are still bullish overall. But later on, even if we do push back up to 575, up to like 578, 580, we're still going to get a very, very nice looking rug pull because of seasonality. I think that's going to cause a big shift in the way the market is viewed. And we're going to be looking for a move back down as we have these gaps to fill. So that's what my view happens to be. For ES, we're going to likely attempt to rebound. We could dip a little bit to about 57.80, and we'll see if we bounce off that or not. I think there might be a little dip in the morning tomorrow with the whole Israel news, and then we could attempt to rebound all over again. And then we'll see if this is like a head and shoulders developing or not. But my gut tells me we might not hold this. This could just be a trap for retail, and we could be trying to revisit the highs. Even if we do pump higher to about the 58.20 area, there's still going to be a big rejection coming as we have this big gap to fill all the way down to the 5600s. 5640 is going to be coming very soon. So look for an attempt to push higher and then a big rejection to the 5640 area. Give this a time it needs to be very, very patient nonetheless. For Nvda, we're attempting to push higher. We have 132 as our resistance. If that breaks, we're looking for 135. If this rejects, we're looking for a dip back down towards 128. So give this the time it needs. My gut tells me that Nvidia is going to be pushing for 135, and we'll see what kind of reaction we get. So give this the time it needs. However, be very, very patient. Even if we do push a little bit higher with Nvidia and all the news that's coming out, we need to give this as much time as possible. In my personal opinion, I think that we could push for 132, if not 135, and we'll see if he rejects. So be very patient and give this all the time it needs. For Bitcoin, Bitcoin is looking at 61,800 as our support. If that fails us, we're looking for a dip back down. We also have this resistance around 62,800. I think that Bitcoin could be dipping a little bit towards the 62,000 area before it tries to rebound tomorrow. But overall, there is some signals that are suggesting that the top is in. We're not going to break this top. We might come down, make a lower high, forming like a double top before it continues. So I'm going to be looking out for that. For NQ, I'm thinking the same thing. If we lose 20,000, we turn more bearish. We could dip closer to like 20,200 before it tries to rebound, but there could be an attempt to push up to these highs all over again. I don't think we're done quite yet on NQ. So we might dip a bit, then try to rebound higher as the double top still has more upside potential. And I think that this double bottom is going to lead this to going higher temporarily. So look for a dip and a bounce to push up higher. And then later on down the line, there's going to be a bigger rug pull likely coming as we get very close to our the November period. For the QQQ, we're also looking a little bit more bullish for the time being. I think we could be pushing up even higher. We'll have to see if we try to break resistance or not. So watch and see how the developments end up coming. So if we end up losing 488, we're looking for basically 485. If we break past 490, we're looking for basically 492 and then 495. With the double bottom forming right here, this could continue to push for this resistance. So we'll see if 495 comes, not to mention this 500 area. I think we dip a little bit tomorrow morning for 485 to 487, and then we try to rebound to try to fill this gap up here. I think the upper gap gets filled first before the lower gap. So that's what my view is. We could push, dip a bit, then start pushing for 495. 495 to 500, and then we could reject and start dipping back down to this next gap. So that's what my view happens to be. For Apple, Apple could attempt to push up higher. We are trying to hold above 225 very nicely, and there's a good chance that if it does hold, we're looking for 228. So we'll see how things end up going. It is possible Apple holds very nicely for that nice rebound. So give this as much time as it needs, and we're going to be very patient nonetheless. For a few more guys, we have Palantir looking more bullish. We're looking for 42.5 as our target. Nonetheless, it's trying to push up very, very nicely, so it has a lot more momentum that's building. For Supermicro, we have the support to watch for at 43. If that fails us, we could be tipping back down towards 40, and then we have this resistance around this 45 area. So if it bounces off 44, we're looking for a bigger push back up. My gut tells me it's going to be dipping back down to 43 before it attempts to rebound, so give this some time. But that's what I'm essentially seeing thus far. For Rivian, we're trying to rebound as well. If we break past 10.55, we're looking for a push back up towards 11. If we lose the support, we'll be dipping back down. My gut tells me that this is pushing for the 11s, so I think there's a good chance we rebound for that. For so far, we're looking a little bit more bullish. If we break past resistance, we could be pushing closer to about the 8.75 area. If we lose $8 flat, we're going to be dipping, but I favor the upside direction for that 8.75 move, and I think that this is going to continue to uptrend. There's going to be a very, very good chance that this continues. For the IWM Russell 2000, we are dipping for the time being on a bit of a downtrend, but we're consolidating between this range. We have 218 as resistance and 215 as support. Look for a dip tomorrow morning for the 216s before it tries to rebound. I think we could still try to fill this gap to 220. So a dip and a bounce is very probable. And we'll see what we do from there. For AMD, we look more bullish. I just want to say that right now we're doing a good job at holding up. So this could attempt to push higher. We have a nice double bottom. If we lose 170, we're looking for 168. If we hold that, we could be looking for a pump up to fill this gap to 178. So I think with AMD's big event coming out for Thursday, there's a good chance this pushes higher for about the gap fill closer to 180. So the share price still looks more bullish to me, and I think 180 is a very, very reasonable target. For ARM, it looks more bullish as we have this gap to fill, so 145 is very probable. If we lose 137, we could be tipping, but this is favoring upside. For Coinbase, we're kind of stuck in the middle. We have 171 as our resistance. If this does not break, we could be tipping back down to about 160, all the way down to like 165. For Amazon's trying to bounce. We have a gap to fill above all the way up towards this 187 area. And then if we end up losing support at 180, we could be tipping back down. This may attempt to rebound for the gap fill for 185, so give that the time it needs. Meta might be retesting 600 as it looks more bullish. Microsoft is trying to hold 409. If we lose that, we turn bearish. If it holds, we could be rebounding for 420. Might see a little rebounds tomorrow. Google, as long as we hold 164, we are going to try to bounce for 168. If you lose that, we could be tipping back down, but this is doing a good job so far. For DJT, we're trying to rebound. If we break past, if we hold above 20.5, we're looking for 22. And eventually up to about 24.8. If we lose 20.5, we could be dipping, but this is doing a good job at holding up. For the VIX, in my opinion, the VIX is basically looking both bullish and bearish. And let me explain. So here's what I think is going to happen. I think on the 4-hour, the VIX is showing it's going to be dipping a little bit. I think that what's going to happen is the market's going to likely dip a little bit in the morning, and then the market's going to see a rally. I think the VIX is about to dump to fill this gap down here. Once the VIX dumps to fill this gap, it could dip a little bit more. And once it bases in the 18 plus area, the VIX is going to base. And then later on, it's going to come back up to see a big increase in volatility as the VIX comes up to fill this gap. So the VIX is going to dip first, okay? The market may dip and then pump later on. Tesla may also pump at the markets. But as time goes on, the VIX will eventually pump to fill this gap, and the VIX is going to be correlated with the market getting a big rug pull. This will likely happen as we get closer to November. in the November period. For the 10-year Treasury yield, we're still up right now. We'll have to see what kind of move we make as we're going to be very patient. The dollar index is still kind of flat right now, so give this some time. If we lose 102.29, we're going to be looking for a dip. It might dip a little bit as the market remains bullish. So my view of the market is more bullish. We might dip a little bit in the morning, then start to rebound as we get closer to FOMC minutes. We could push with CPI and FOMC minutes, try to get closer to all-time highs on the S&P 500. But then later on, even if we do break to all-time highs, I still think the rug pull will come later on as we get closer to November. So I'm still giving you guys a heads up about that very early on. For Tesla's trying to base at 38 to 40. There's a good chance we try to base. And there could be a nice bounce coming later on as we get closer to the Robotaxi event. Once 247 breaks, this thing is going to be on its way to the 250s. I think there's a good chance it does that. With that being said, guys, I want to thank you all so much for listening. So please have a great day. I'll see you guys very soon for another update tomorrow morning. Until then, please have a great day, and I'll see you guys very, very soon as time goes on. So thank you for listening, and peace out.